Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm so happy to see all of you, man. I'm so happy. Hugs, hugs. Welcome back. Great. Now we are officially on part 2 of the 3-part series that we have officially dubbed the To-Do List Project. If you haven't seen my last video on HTML, go ahead and go back and check it out and and get your little HTML fill. All right. So today we are focusing on CSS. We've already built the structure or the HTML. Now it's time to style it up a bit. And we'll do that by applying some CSS. Let's take a look at what we have so far. And now let's take a look at what we want it to look like once we apply some CSS. All right. You can see that it's centered. It now has somewhat of a border. The color of the text has changed on the heading. The list no longer has bullet points next to each list item. Now each list item has an underline. So there's quite a few changes. Okay, let's jump right in. To start off, I will show you 3 different ways to apply CSS. I'll begin with showing you how to write inline styling, then I'll show you internal styling, and then closer to the end of the video, I'll show you how to apply external styling, which is best practice. So make sure you watch until the end. For inline styling, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You are writing the styles within the opening tag, hence the name inline. So if we wanted to change the color of the text in the heading, and if we also wanted that text to be aligned in the center, we would write the CSS declarations within the H1 opening tag. And it would look like this. Style equals color, and we'll just write purple, text align, center. But this is really the least favorite approach when it comes to styling, mainly because it's harder to maintain and there's no reusability. If you had more than one H1 tag, you would have to write the inline styling within each H1 opening tag, which is ridiculous, especially if you're working with a larger project. So let's move on to internal styling. This approach is usually good for single page or small projects like ours. So let's style our page that way. You'll need to place style tags within the head. So let's do that. Between the style tags is where we place our CSS rule sets. A CSS rule set establishes your who, what, and how when it comes to styling. It looks a little something like this. First, you have your selector, which is who the styling will be applied to. Then you create a declaration block with style instructions. The declaration will have a property, which is what you will be changing about a specific element. And then you have a value. This is how you want the property to look or behave. Don't worry, after a short while of writing CSS, this syntax will become second nature. Trust. Back to our code. So let's add the heading styling here. So we'll need a selector, which, as I said before, it's what we're targeting to style, and that is the H1 element. So we'll type in H1, and this will target all H1s within the page. And then open and close curly braces. And like I said, within the braces is where we'll place the declarations. Also, you should know that there are other ways to target certain areas. Instead of using the tag name like H1, div, or maybe even UL, we could instead give our element an ID and a name. So let's give our div an ID name of wrapper. And inside our styling area, we'll select the div element by typing #wrapper. The hash is always used to target an element by its ID. Keep in mind that IDs are supposed to be unique on a page. That means you're only supposed to use a specific ID name once in a single HTML document. Another way would be to give the div a class. Classes differ from IDs in that you can use a specific class more than once throughout the HTML document. So let's give it a class named wrapper. In your styling area, we'll select the div element by typing .wrapper. The period is always used to target an element by its class. Okay, code along with me or watch while I style our page to get it looking like we want it to. Keep in mind that there are resources out there that will give you a complete list of CSS styles. The gold standard that all developers should know about is MDN Web Docs. Another more beginner-friendly resource is W3 Schools. I'll provide a link to both in the description. Okay, now that we have all of our styling set up, let's take a look at how it looks now. Remember to save your file first before you check. Nice! It's looking exactly how I want it to look. Now feel free to play around with the colors or anything else to get it looking like you want. Now let's go over external styling, which remember, it's best practice. What we'll do is we'll go up to our root folder, which is right here, and we'll click on New Folder, and we'll call it CSS. Within that folder, we'll click New File, and we'll name it style.css. Don't forget the .css. Next, what we'll do is cut all of the styles that we created in our HTML file and place them in our style.css file. Save the changes. Now in our HTML file, let's get rid of the style tags. Now we need a way to link the CSS file to our HTML file. So we'll once again go to our head and we'll create a link tag. The shortcut to create the link tag in Visual Studio Code is done by typing link:/CSS and then pressing tab. We'll need to make a change to our href because my style.css file is found in my CSS folder. So I'll need to place CSS in a /. If you named your CSS file something other than style, then you'll need to change that to match your file name. Okay, save this. Now let's see if our page is still using the styling that we applied. Success! Hey! You should really be proud of yourself. You really out here killing it. First HTML, now CSS.
Did it. We did it, Joe. You're gonna be the next president of the United States.
So we officially have the structure and the styling completed, but our to-do list still isn't functioning like it should. We're still not able to add a task to the list. We're not able to cross out any of the tasks, and we still don't have the ability to delete any of them. But no worries, I'll cover that in my next video when I talk about JavaScript. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this helpful in any way. And feel free to leave a comment or a question below. All right, I'll see y'all in part 3.